This has officially become Star Wars Week because as of Tuesday, we've gotten so much content that I actually can't keep up. If you can believe it or not, yesterday Star Wars released 5 preview pages for Darth Vader issue number 6. On Wednesday, issue number 5 just concluded. We got a video on that on the channel, so if you didn't watch it, please go check it out because it's going to be important as to what these previews contain. If you guys remember, for those who watched that video, after tracking down the place where Padme died and where she spoke her last words, hearing that there is still good in him and that Obi-Wan was by her side when she died, he was immediately summoned by Darth Sidious, and he traveled to Coruscant and got inside the Imperial Palace. But for Sidious, it wasn't such a welcomed visit. In fact, he started igniting lightning in his hands, getting ready to torture his not-so-young apprentice. The first preview page starts with a bang, as outside the Imperial Palace, stormtroopers and generals alike are amazed as to what is happening inside Palpatine's throne room. Lightning is literally coming out of it. One of the stormtroopers is completely amazed, but for the ones inside, it was a horror show. Palpatine, with 2 royal guards by his side, was very impressed that Darth Vader could still defend himself against his lightning, which was considered to be the strongest weapon Palpatine had. Now Vader was perplexed. Why was he attacking him? As the lightning started creeping up his hand slowly, Vader was now struggling. Palpatine hated that Vader was playing games. He didn't even want to give an explanation to such a dumb question, and he instructed the Grand Vizier Amedda to talk in his behalf. Now Amedda entered the room. He was sent to bring Skywalker to the dark side, meaning Luke, as Vader was slowly being engulfed in lightning and the screams were coming slowly. Vader in fact let Luke escape. Then he was summoned to report everything to the Emperor, but instead you left on your own personal mission. Now Vader was slowly getting usurped by all that barrage of lightning. He discovered a rebel cell led by the double of Senator Amedda, who you should have slaughtered, but instead you let her escape. All this concluded by Amedda to be at best failure, at worst treason, as Palpatine now stopped torturing Vader with lightning and asked one simple question: what do we do with traitors, Amedda? The answer was again very simple: they killed traitors. The sadistic Palpatine, of course, was enjoying all of this, and now Amedda ordered the royal guards to attack. The 2 royal guards that were guarding Palpatine now started to move in attack position against Darth Vader, who had his lightsaber ignited, although smoke was still coming out of him as he had just survived a barrage of lightning by Palpatine. The guards moved very quickly. They were the elite of the elite protecting Palpatine. One of the guards hit Vader in the shoulder. The one was getting ready to hit him, but Vader maneuvered with his lightsaber, almost striking one of them and barely missed. Palpatine, though, wanted to make this at least a fair fight, and using his hand and the Force, he told Vader no lightsaber, showing how strong Palpatine actually was, not only with lightning, but he dominated Vader in every single facet. With one lift of his hand, he grabbed Vader's lightsaber out of his mechanical hand without worry. Vader couldn't even do anything to stop him. I want to come back to this after we finish the last page and discuss the level of power these two had and what we learned from this specific panel. Vader's lightsaber was stolen by Palpatine, who he grabbed his saber, keeping it for himself, and instructed the guards and Vader alike to continue. As the Emperor was watching, now the guards had their way with Vader. He was defenseless without his lightsaber, and both of them struck at Vader with their electro staffs. Vader screamed in agony and pain, and Palpatine seemed to enjoy it, although he was expecting more from his apprentice. He knew that that Vader was not yet done. And that is exactly what happened. As in the last panel, Vader grabs one of the electrostaffs with his hand and is getting ready to take care of some business. These royal guards will rue the day they ever came close to Vader. Although it's damned if you do and damned if you don't, because the orders of Palpatine were lethal all in the same. So you could basically say that these two royal guards were destined to die in the very near future, either by Palpatine or Vader, and what we can assume that once the full comic releases, Vader will completely dismantle these two royal guards, maybe let them survive, but I don't think so. The tension is very high in this room at this moment, so they will probably be crushed by Vader without his lightsaber. As you can assume, this is the last page that we got from the previews, but the previews alone show how crazy it got inside the throne room. Palpatine had completely lost faith in Darth Vader at this point, same as Vader. We have discussed a lot about his allegiance, and even years ago when the 2015 comic series came out, we saw how Vader had given up on the Empire and Palpatine altogether. He had finally come to grips with the fact that Palpatine will always be a thorn at his side. If the Jedi were commanding, Palpatine was to be double that, and maybe even more. That's exactly what Vader hated, what Anakin hated, to be controlled like a puppet, like a tool. As destiny would have it, he would serve the same purpose for the Empire and Palpatine. That's why he grew to resent everything and everybody. And the culmination of all of that, I think, has come to fruition. This is what we get from all those years of Vader trying to go outside of Palpatine's reign and rule by himself, create allegiances and factions that strictly go against Sidious. And to go back to those panels where Palpatine grabbed Vader's lightsaber with ease, stole it right from his hand, like stealing candy from a baby. If we take a step back and see that Sidious is not even concerning himself with his own lightsaber in defending against Vader, you can clearly understand why Vader never came to challenge his master. He knew that he was inferior, and this shows us why. Palpatine doesn't even have his own lightsabers at this moment. He doesn't even care about those. With only lightning, he nearly crushed Vader to death. The only reason he survived was because Sidious literally stopped and wanted to torture Vader even more and embarrass him with the royal guards. To make matters worse, not only did Vader almost die from lightning, now Palpatine shows superior force abilities to Vader. Grabbing his lightsaber out of his hands shows that Palpatine is way superior, and if Vader would have been in the same level, he might have pulled on his saber as well, and they might have met in the middle, trying to use the force to pull Vader's lightsaber in between them. But Vader did not even make an attempt. Palpatine was extremely confident in his abilities, and it shows why Vader never really got the courage to go up to his master and try to kill him. What a great preview, and it answered a lot of canon questions, at the very least, who's superior and who is not. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.